The entire planet instantly became too small for both. We were forced into a fragile, terrifying coexistence with species we only knew from fossils.
The profound, primal human fear of being utterly small returned. Civilization was instantly measured against the terrifying, raw power of nature.
Daily, mundane life became an unpredictable hazard. Simple errands now required extreme vigilance and acceptance of severe delays.
The comforting illusion of total domestic safety was shattered. Our homes became fragile sanctuaries against a newly hostile world.
Humanity instantly entered a permanent state of hypervigilance. Our ancient dormant survival instincts reawakened and took immediate control. Science immediately shifted to urgent taxonomy. We scrambled to understand the complex genome of every massive, living, historical creature.
Technology was instantly repurposed. Advanced communication yielded to the immediate core need for effective, simple, primitive defense. Public infrastructure adapted quickly. Every road and forest now required clear, constant warning signs about verified territorial threats.
Agriculture faced insurmountable challenges. Protecting every food source from massive, persistent, hungry ancient herbivores became an impossible priority.
Childhood wonder was instantly redefined. The most fantastical beasts from our picture books were now living, verifiable truths right outside.
Vast swathes of the continental interior were instantly seeded. Humanity became a species crowded onto small, safer coastal edges. The old learned skills of climbing, tracking, and listening became infinitely more valuable than any advanced modern academic degree.
Art and literature instantly found a savage new muse. The intense, visceral beauty of ancient biology was now the ultimate subject.
Education entirely shifted to survival curriculum. We taught children practical defense before the complexities of abstract mathematics.
A risky, strange form of domesticity emerged. Some attempted to tame smaller species, finding companionship in the sudden, ancient chaos.
Fear instantly became routine. The most terrifying creatures were discussed in news reports with the same mundane tone as a weather report.
Military focus utterly changed. Defense relied not on human intelligence, but on tracking the complex, overwhelming movement of ancient beasts.
Medicine instantly faced a new, invisible war. Prehistoric pathogens suddenly threatened to dismantle modern human immunity and health.
Personal freedom was dramatically restricted. The vast, unknown wilderness outside the fence became a painful but entirely necessary boundary.
Relationships gained immediate, intense value. Every safe return home was a profound victory, reinforcing the core love for life itself.
Energy infrastructure required complete protection. We built towering systems designed to physically withstand massive external impacts.
The line between paleontology and spiritualism dissolved. Fossils were now powerful relics that connected the living directly to deep time.
A new passive tourism emerged. Observing the majestic ancient creatures became the most profound, beautiful, and dangerous pastime. Access to fresh water instantly became a massive, dangerous strategic priority. Every source was contaminated by aquatic giants. Fashion adapted quickly to pure function. Clothing was no longer about style, but purely about maximum defense against unexpected threats. Politics narrowed to a single essential issue. The only viable policy was allocating resources towards survival against the overwhelming external threat. Architecture constantly focused on elevation. Buildings were designed not for comfort, but to physically deny access to relentless ground predators. Silence became the greatest luxury. The night was a constant symphony of ancient, terrifying sounds, compelling perpetual light sleep. We began finding small pockets of peace. The presence of smaller species offered moments of unexpected beauty and subtle, needed connection.
The museum and the raw, real world suddenly merged. Our ancestors and our current fears were now definitively one. We instantly lost our deep-seated sense of mastery. The air, ground, and water were suddenly controlled by superior, ancient beings.
Our core identity blended primal, raw survival with advanced science. We were now hunters and engineers, forced to balance the spear. Our core identity blended primal, raw survival with advanced science.
We were now hunters and engineers, forced to balance the spear.
Our sensory awareness sharpened to perfection. We learned to read the slightest tremor, the language of clear danger in the earth itself.
Individualism yielded to absolute necessity. Only through constant, selfless community and shared effort could we ensure the species' continuation.
Humility was enforced instantly by sheer scale. Our history was a brief moment compared to the vast, powerful, endless epoch of the ancient giants.
Our core story was utterly rewritten. It was no longer a narrative of dominance, but a humbling testament to constant, resilient adaptation. The essential relationship was defined not by war, but by reluctant and forced respect. We learned the boundaries of their strength.
We confronted the fundamental, heavy question of planetary ownership. The Earth was never truly ours. We were just briefly privileged.
Profound beauty was found in the terror. The sun illuminated the unexpected color, transforming primal fear into awe-filled contemplation.
Quiet comfort became the ultimate luxury. The absence of a roar and the simple fire's warmth were moments worth every sacrifice made.
We passed on a crucial new education. To survive was to show immense respect for overwhelming power, not seeking its destruction.
The fortified city became a powerful symbol of resilience. Human spirit could build a warm, vibrant life even when confined by ancient danger.
If one day humans lived with dinosaurs, we would learn true civilization is enduring existence alongside the immense, magnificent impossible. If one day the ancient, powerful world asserted itself, and humanity woke to find great dinosaurs sharing our planet. If someday we awaken to an impossible stillness, and the familiar, comforting canopy above was simply erased,
Hit subscribe to explore with me if one day the world is no longer as you know it.
Imagine the morning light, now stripped of all diffusion, beating down with a blinding, relentless intensity.
the silence was not just of sound, but of movement, a profound, haunting absence where great atmospheric dramas once played. The initial uncomfortable feeling across the globe was a universal, profound confusion, quickly replacing simple wonder with unease. Our systems of knowledge immediately failed, and the headlines offered only questions, unable to process such complete loss.
The scientific community, usually quick with theories, could only confirm the emptiness, a terrifying new anomaly beyond our metrics.
The true, grinding weight of the loss quickly fell upon the land as the sun's uncontrolled heat began to scorch the world.
Our reality fractured into extremes, a world defined solely by blinding, unforgiving light and the absolute, deep cold of shadow.
The sudden lack of atmospheric texture meant artists struggled, finding no mood or softness in a sky of sterile, unyielding clarity.
We had suddenly lost the atmosphere's profound, restless drama, the exhilarating, terrifying anticipation that precedes any great storm.
Humanity began to retreat, instinctively seeking sanctuary and finding a new, quiet comfort pressed into the shadows of shelter. The resulting quietude was not peaceful, but a profound emotional silence. The world suffered a deep, collective, and aching heartache. Without the thermal blanket of clouds, the Earth's very temperament destabilized, amplifying the contrast between day and night. The blessed memory of rain became an almost mythical concept, a fading, precious relic whispered about in the newly arid lands. There was nothing left to promise necessary hydration, no atmospheric reprieve to signal the possibility of renewal for life below. We collectively adapted by trading the vast, exposed outdoors for sheltered man-made sanctuaries where the sun's glare could not reach. Children learned about the texture and function of clouds in history lessons, studying a concept that felt utterly mythical and distant. We clung fiercely to old images and records, grasping for grainy, treasured proof of the magnificent, fleeting beauty that once soared. We invented intricate ways to simulate the loss, manufacturing artificial controlled environments to recall the feeling of a rainy day.
Despite the profound discomfort, the stark, pure clarity of the new sky possessed a raw, intimidating, and unexpected aesthetic power. The cold, dark nights became an unparalleled gift to every astronomer, revealing the entire violent glory of the cosmic truth.
We experienced the distant universe without its necessary earthly filter, seeing the unvarnished, terrifying truth of deep space for the first time.
Our focus shifted entirely to the definite and the permanent. The relentless clarity above demanded a new, harder appreciation for sharp lines.
The uncompromising, harsh light illuminated every corner of our lives, exposing our weaknesses and leaving nothing hidden from the public glare.
We were compelled to learn a new, enduring patience, a profound, almost spiritual stoicism in the face of the permanent, overwhelming clarity.
The world, stripped of its celestial diffusers, became too sharp, too defined, tragically losing its necessary, comforting ability to soothe.
Our deepest yearnings were now for the non-specific, for the beautiful ambiguity and the comforting promise of something unseen above.
The absolute clarity of the empty sky forced us to look ruthlessly inward, intently studying the defined shadows residing within ourselves.
We desperately missed the gentle humidity, the subtle way the air once felt heavy, alive, and profoundly full of impending possibility.
The world felt noticeably smaller, losing its sense of mystery and becoming dangerously devoid of spontaneous possibility and the sublime.
We slowly realized that the clouds were far more than just water vapor. They were a profound, essential atmospheric metaphor for life.
They represented the spaces between our rigid thoughts, the necessary fluid gaps that permit genuine flow and healthy psychological relief.
The clouds held the quiet potential for massive change, the beautiful, terrifying mystery contained within every great unseen transformation.
We tragically learned that the most profound forms of beauty are often found only in those fragile things that refuse permanent definition.
The sheer, overwhelming immensity of the empty blue began to feel less like freedom and disturbingly more like a silent cosmic vacuum.
A new kind of emotional ache settled deep into our hearts, a painful, constant yearning for the atmospheric sublime we had carelessly lost.
Yet, against all odds, life stubbornly persisted. It found profound ways to bloom and flourish even beneath the cruel, unforgiving sun.
We finally found the essential softness we lost in the sky, powerfully reflected in the warmth of our sincere connections to one another.
We learned the brutal, undeniable value of every drop of water and the essential, life-saving necessity of communal shade.
We ultimately became the children of the stark, powerful light, clearer, harder, and somehow more deeply, profoundly real in our existence.
Then, what if after long, desolate years, a single solitary particle of moisture was finally able to drift into view?
The world would collectively hold its breath, a generation utterly speechless in silent, profound, and utterly unexpected awe. A singular soft shadow falls, not a full cloud, but an undeniable, powerful symbol and promise of atmospheric change.
We understood in that moment that the greatest, most miraculous gifts are often the ones we carelessly took for granted.
If someday the clouds truly return, we shall remember the empty sky and never view a gray, familiar day the same way.
Thank you, my friend, for watching this video till the end. Wishing you a wonderful day.
If someday we awoke to realize our sole remaining possession was just one single dollar coin, meant to somehow last the entire long day. Hit subscribe to explore with me if one day the world is no longer as you know it.
That was the jarring moment. Every bank balance, every digital credit line had utterly vanished without a single traceable sign.
All material possessions instantly lost exchange value. Everything we owned was worthless. Only that meager coin held any survival meaning. The immediate response is cold, brutal calculation. What single item can $1 buy? The only answer is basic, critical survival.
The simplest meal is instantly transformed into a supreme feast. Every single bite is a precious victory against fierce, relentless hunger.
Distance tragically became a cruel, overwhelming challenge. Every step is pure effort, a costly trade-off of time versus dwindling energy.
Clean, accessible water instantly became a profound, undeserved privilege. Every single drop is life, a fragile sign of desperate, essential hope. Everything reusable instantly gains sharp value. Life forces us to seek opportunity in the simple debris that others carelessly cast aside.
The world still spins, oblivious, but we are stuck on the tragic fringe, permanently shut out from the economic game of consumption.
The longing for small, once taken for granted things now becomes a low, persistent ache, a constant, painful whisper deep within the soul. Personal pride slowly vanishes, replaced by a raw, immediate plea. The urgent language of simple survival becomes brutally clear and direct. Profound despair is not failure, but physical exhaustion, a painful lesson about the sheer limit of human endurance without basic resources.
We quickly learn to mend and carefully reuse. Everything must have a necessary second life to desperately try and stretch out precious hope.
Maintaining personal hygiene became a daily strategy, utilizing free urban resources like steam or sun to minimize health risks.
A warm shelter is a distant memory. Every night is a cold gamble, searching for free, discarded materials for temporary safety. Formal money loses its dominance. Genuine bartering of services for food becomes the only powerful, necessary form of daily commerce. Urban foraging knowledge is suddenly the most priceless capital. Sharing locations is the only possible way for our community to persist.
Reading a simple menu becomes a powerful source of torment and temporary escape, visualizing the food we desperately cannot afford.
We learn to exploit every scrap of free organic material. Even fallen leaves and paper are vital for insulating against the harsh cold. Raw intellectual effort bursts forth. Survival demands meticulously calculated, focused financial tracking with only a piece of scavenged charcoal. Forced proximity creates unique bonds. We learn to rely entirely on body heat and shared physical space for collective necessary warmth. Every community flyer, every public bulletin became essential reading, desperately searching for free services or potential unpaid tasks. Compassion became a tangible, protective act. Every small sacrifice was measured by its ability to shield the most vulnerable from hardship. All leisure vanished. Time was brutally dedicated to necessary labor and the slow, deliberate creation of essential, basic tools. Public refuse instantly became a necessary resource. Every discarded item was scrutinized, looking desperately for the smallest chance of reuse. All financial planning demanded ruthless scrutiny. The single dollar was meticulously divided and spent only on the most critical needs. The relentless walking took a brutal physical toll. Feet were constantly injured, demanding careful, resourceful maintenance with scavenged cloth. The weak, free light of the street lamp became our necessary library. Information was vital, demanding constant, obsessive, focused reading. We lost the simple luxury of true privacy. Sleep was a public necessity, dependent on finding thin, meager protection on the hard street. Necessity birthed ingenuity. A broken lens became a tool for creating fire, maximizing every single free energy source available. Perhaps the harsh limit of $1 was not truly poverty, but an unintentional, profound lesson about what real sufficiency means. When everything is severely scarce, true human value lies only in the profound ability to share, not in the desperate need to hoard. We finally learn to find deep, simple joy in the most basic things, realizing that authentic, enduring happiness needs no currency. Cooperation and strong human solidarity spontaneously ignite. When individuals lack, the community's combined strength becomes the only true, vital hope. We deeply understood that genuine happiness is not in what we possess, but in finding profound, lasting meaning within the daily struggle. True stability comes not from material wealth, but from a fortified, unbreakable spirit. Inner strength is the greatest asset we possess. We deeply crave true, lasting purity and essential value, reminding us of the simple, unadorned beauty inherent in this fragile life. Focusing on singular, essential needs holds vast meaning. Prioritizing the vital few is the only possible path to achieving sufficiency. Human connection instantly became our true sanctuary, the single place where scarcity could never reach, where loyalty remains infinite. We are profoundly grateful for every moment we breathe, to simply be present and feel everything in this profoundly constrained, finite world.
Life, whether spent in luxury or minimum means, remains a singular journey to find authentic, lasting meaning within ourselves.
The severe financial limitation did not change the profound value of the story we lived. It merely made that story deeper. We deeply realize that we are always truly wealthy when we sincerely learn to cherish the attention given to necessary life. The essential quality of an act will always outweigh material possessions. It offers an enduring internal peace money simply cannot purchase. If someday we only had $1, we would finally learn to live fully, finding authentic, enduring wealth deep within our own soul.
Thank you, my friend, for watching this video till the end. Wishing you a wonderful day.
If someday we awoke to find the universe had decided to cruelly halve the generous measure of time that was originally granted to us,
Hit subscribe to explore with me if one day the world is no longer as you know it.
That was the jarring, profound moment of realization. The gentle rhythm of the world was instantly, violently torn into an anxious, frantic race. Our conventional day was instantly devoured, leaving only 12 fleeting hours for every necessary action, every duty, and every small moment. The immediate global reaction was sheer panic, launching everyone into a desperate, futile, furious race against the wildly accelerating clock hands.
Every mundane daily activity instantly became an overwhelming burden. The precious time for rest was mercilessly sacrificed without thought.
we were harshly forced into making painful, cruel choices, prioritizing only what was absolutely essential within those 12 condensed hours.
Our deep connections were severed. We tragically lost the ability to dedicate long, quiet moments to the people we truly cared about.
The global economy spiraled into immediate chaos as efficiency plummeted and quality was aggressively traded for absolute, exhausting speed.
We lost the essential slowness required for deep learning, for thoughtful contemplation, and for lasting, meaningful intellectual growth. All long-term, ambitious endeavors instantly became impossible dreams. Patience and strategic foresight no longer held any practical meaning.
The world transformed into mere sequences of fleeting, rushed encounters, constantly broken by the unrelenting pressure of chronic urgency. Life was brutally reduced to a blur of rushed moments that never truly settled, failing to ripen fully into clear, lasting memories.
The human body endured relentless torment. Constant sleep deprivation quickly became the universal, crippling default state of existence.
We grew instantly dependent on artificial stimulants, desperately seeking chemical means to stretch the severe limits of our consciousness and focus. The internal biological clock violently shattered. Our minds could not adapt to the demanding new rhythm, rejecting the unnatural 12-hour cycle. People began actively seeking profound isolation, finding their only true sanctuary where the world's aggressive external urgency could not reach. But amidst the surrounding, overwhelming chaos, the quiet inherent value of tiny, fragile things began to feel monumentally clear. Communication immediately became distilled into necessary essentials. Every single word had to carry the deepest possible meaningful weight. We intentionally hyper-focused on our remaining senses, attempting to prolong the subjective experience through absolute, undivided, careful attention. Meditation instantly upgraded into a vital survival skill, the necessary quest for absolute stillness amidst the relentless psychological pressure.
We began to violently reject the clock's tyranny, choosing instead to follow the body's own desperate natural internal rhythms of life.
Our deep solidarity was profoundly reinforced. In the face of sudden, crippling scarcity, mutual support became the golden, absolute, unwritten law. Art instantly mirrored the universal rupture. Imperfection and the unfinished nature of things gained a raw, poignant, and unexpected beauty. We were forcibly taught to deeply respect the encompassing darkness, valuing it as the essential necessary half of our demanding new existence. The essential act of planting gained powerful symbolic weight. Conviction replaced patience, fueling an urgent belief in the very next day.
Extreme minimalism became the new necessary lifestyle, keeping only the few essential items that provided immediate, critical, or lasting value.
Love was expressed through direct, tangible action, through the absolute, profound presence within that short, demanding, shared moment.
We found unexpected solace in small, private, deliberate rituals, trying desperately to stretch the slow perception of deliberate time.
The ultimate purpose of life ruthlessly narrowed down, becoming brutally clear. Only what truly mattered had the clear right to exist.
The concepts of flaw and constraint were no longer failures, but became the new, difficult, honest definition of this existence.
Perhaps the actual velocity of time had not changed at all. Only our own frantic, flawed perception of its passage was suddenly clarified.
When time becomes severely scarce, its true value lies in the profound depth of the moment, never in its physical, measured length. We gained the unique, powerful ability to find authentic joy within the deep, necessary rush, learning how to live profoundly with an urgency.
Ultimately, this brutal new limitation forced every one of us to live with fierce intention, valuing every single, highly deliberate, precious action.
We deeply realized that even 12 hours still formed a complete closed cycle, a perfect and demanding loop in its own unique way.
Finding profound stillness amidst the frantic storm became the absolute only place where we could discover lasting control over ourselves.
We yearned deeply for things that moved slowly, because they reminded us that not everything was governed by this extreme, desperate haste.
Absolute, profound concentration instantly became a valuable gift. We had fundamentally stopped wasting our precious attention on trivial matters.
Love was instantly our ultimate sanctuary, the only place where 12 frantic hours could be stretched into true, subjective, profound infinity.
We found ourselves deeply grateful for every simple instance of breathing, for simply existing in this new, finite, and highly constrained world. Life itself, whether it spanned 24 hours or 12, is only a fast, bright flash against the infinite, indifferent cosmic backdrop. The sudden limitation of time could never change the true, intrinsic value of the unique story we passionately chose to live.
We deeply realized with absolute clarity that we always possessed enough time for those things we truly and passionately cared about. The essential quality of the moment, however brief, will profoundly outweigh the measurable quantity of time we think we possess. If someday the day only had 12 hours, we would learn to cherish time, living as if every single precious moment were priceless.
Thank you, my friend, for watching this video till the end. Wishing you a wonderful day.
If someday we awoke to realize no lie, no matter how small or innocent, could ever again escape our lips or our mind,
Hit subscribe to explore with me if one day the world is no longer as you know it.
the social niceties, the casual, harmless white lies, were instantly replaced by stark, cold truth delivered without any mercy.
All business and political structures were immediately paralyzed by this overwhelming, instantaneous honesty and absolute, unfiltered clarity. All commerce collapsed instantly. No exaggerated advertising, no false flattery, only raw transactional exchanges based purely on need. Even the comforting lies we tell ourselves for simple relief could no longer exist. Self-awareness became too immediate and extremely harsh. Every romantic relationship endured a brutal purge, revealing only primary motives, completely stripped of any facade or affection. The entire legal system instantly crumbled. There was no way to obscure facts. Justice became immediate, but often profoundly devastating. Even in the realm of medicine, the false sense of therapeutic assurance vanished. People faced the brutal limits of current science. The language of courtesy and artificial flattery was stolen. The art world was replaced by genuine, honest, and completely unforgiving critique. Even long-standing friendships could not withstand the sudden, immense weight of hidden envy, deep resentment, and all suppressed feelings. Motivational falsehoods disappeared. Education became a harsh process, focused only on the undeniable truth about actual ability and limits. The sudden result was an encompassing, profound silence. Everyone chose quiet, terrified of the words that could no longer be controlled. The truth was not confined to mere spoken words. Every gesture, every slight movement automatically betrayed the true, naked intention. Even written language could not deceive. Every stroke of the pen was forced to contain only the absolute, undeniable core reality. Humanity reverted to primitive, objective language, pointing, cold data, and simple symbols, requiring zero subjective interpretation.
Statements of absolute certainty no longer existed. Everyone learned to humbly acknowledge the true, genuine limits of their personal knowledge.
Core feelings were openly displayed without fear of swift judgment or rejection. Vulnerability became the unexpected new common currency.
Grasping communication became the direct, immediate exchange of inner emotional states, with no disguise or attempt at filtration.
The true motives behind power were starkly laid bare. Honesty forces one to tolerate the darker, raw motives of many others.
Product quality was now described precisely. Buyers weighed immediate need against the harsh, ugly truth of the available goods.
Love was redefined by radical acceptance. It was no longer a perfect ideal, but a conscious acknowledgement of our mutual shared flaws. The skill of emotional rhetoric became utterly useless. Only logic, objective data, and verifiable facts were the required tools. The deep-seated obsession with external appearance was directly confronted. No more self-deception. People accepted the truth of aging.
Clear, well-structured written communication quickly became the safest preferred medium. Every word had to be carefully chosen to avoid ambiguity.
Sincere silence held immense value over any false comforting words. Accepting emotional limits fostered a profound, deeper human connection.
The exhausting burden of maintaining a complex social facade instantly vanished. Everyone was finally permitted to be their flawed, true self. Sources of unreliable information became utterly scarce. People instantly stopped believing anything that could not be factually proven.
Social circles were instantly reordered. Raw truth allowed people to decisively cut off toxic, negative links without any lingering doubt.
Even the beautiful, cherished myths had to instantly crumble. The world gained reality, but lost the profound magic of childhood lies. Official language completely changed. It was no longer a harsh command, but the honest description of the true psychological motive. The absolute truth of the self was not a neat unity, but a complex sum of many raw contradictions that needed acceptance. The immense healing power of a completely honest apology was boundless. Truth did not always wound. Sometimes it brought relief. Clear, engaging, and quick-witted. Language required purification. We rediscovered the severe purity of core words, eliminating every nuance that could possibly mislead. A truly honest smile, an emotional action that simply could not be corrupted, became the most reliable, beautiful form of daily communication.
Truth, spoken openly, instantly provided profound freedom from the immense, secret weight of constant concealment and deep fear.
Acceptance of genuine self-imperfection brought ultimate peace. Living truthfully was revealed as the most courageous and essential form of existence. Every major decision had to be based strictly on objective, verifiable data. The era of persuasive opinion and vague rhetoric had instantly ended. The voluntary purge of personal history began. We destroyed every record that failed to reflect the cold, absolute truth of the present.
True commitment was not blind idealization, but the conscious choice to accept the entire dark reality of another human being. We came to accept that absolute transparency was the necessary highest moral good. The truth must always remain reflected within us.
The ultimate truth was not meant to destroy or to wound, but was the only necessary tool left to rebuild trust in society.
After initial chaos, the truth brought profound liberation. The exhausting burden of maintaining all falsehoods had finally fully vanished.
Nature provided the final sanctuary, a realm where there was no deceit, only the honest, unadorned cycle of living and dying. The greatest truth was accepting that we cannot know everything. Acknowledging knowledge limits fostered both humility and profound respect. If someday lies vanished, we would learn to speak the difficult truth with incredible kindness, necessary grace, and conscious courage.
Thank you, my friend, for watching this video till the end. Wishing you a wonderful day.
This was more than simple speed. It was a profound, complete reordering of time, mass, and every known fundamental physical law. The entire world held its collective breath, watching the first tiny ship instantly vanish, successfully defying every known scientific expectation.
For the individual traveler, the entire known universe outside instantly collapsed into one single point of eternal blinding white light. Local time ceased to have meaning. For the traveler, a journey of 10,000 years ended the very instant it began. On Earth,
They are already
time moved
centuries ahead
relentlessly
of us.
forward, accelerating into an unknown future where our travelers were forever displaced.
The traveler's mass became theoretically infinite, separating them from the static world by an unbridgeable gulf of sheer physics.
All two-way communication instantly failed. No wave, no signal could ever catch those who traveled on the very edge of forever.
Our perception of scale shifted from terrestrial to truly cosmic. The entire enormous galaxy was now reachable nearly instantly.
The first generation to travel instantly became legendary ghosts, leaving behind family they could never fully know or recognize. Our home world, once the secure center of life, instantly shrank into a tiny, irrelevant point in the vast rearview mirror.
The entire visible universe was now a frozen snapshot. The traveler existed only in their own singular, eternal, terrifying moment.
We began studying our own civilization's past as if it were ancient text, a fragile record of a completely lost and distant era.
The old rules of simple engineering and basic mechanics were rendered utterly useless. Everything required recalibration based on new physics.
We abandoned the fragile surface, redirecting all resources toward massive structures designed to withstand extreme space-time dilation.
Existence became purely a philosophical query. If time truly ceases, does anything retain its inherent matter, identity, or deep essence?
Love was instantly redefined by severe temporal distance. The traveler carried a memory of a person who no longer existed in the same moment.
Art attempted to capture the new reality, but human forms looked strangely warped, challenging our aesthetic understanding of perfection.
Darkness instantly became common. On new worlds, light from distant suns could no longer effectively reach us anymore. A new temporal core instantly emerged, dedicated solely to charting the impossible, terrifying effects of relative time.
Physics became destiny. Mathematical constants were no longer abstract concepts, but overwhelming forces governing every single interaction.
We searched for profound metaphors of essential motion in stillness. Water flow became a deep symbol of the gentle, lost passage of time.
Even small periods of velocity resulted in measurable physical age gaps. Every journey now bore a precise, tangible cost in years.
Language itself instantly simplified. Complex nuance became impossible, replaced by stark nouns, verbs, and exact velocity measurements.
The very light we perceived was stretched and compressed. Colors shifted based on speed, altering the visual texture of all reality.
The gentle sounds of the past became precious memories. Sound was now a slow, meaningless echo in the new vacuum of speed.
Distance ceased to matter, yet the universe seemed infinitely larger. The faster we went, the more overwhelming space became.
All spontaneity was crushed by the deterministic laws of motion. Every future path was mathematically fixed the moment the journey began.
Human thought drastically narrowed, utterly consumed by pure physics. Philosophy and art yielded to the stark need for calculation. We found profound wonder in the basics. The simple structure of one atom became the most beautiful, complex thing imaginable.
We learned that all reality is fundamentally observer-dependent. The slow self was just as real as the self traveling at infinite velocity.
The sheer value of slow, deliberate, organic existence was revealed. Growth, waiting, and patience were now the rarest virtues. The powerful illusion of a separate past and future totally vanished. Everything existed only in the single, perpetual, undeniable now.
True poetry was found in the perfect tick of a clock, the rhythm of constant speed, and the elegance of mathematics.
The unexpected loss of static time created
We
immense
deeply
longing.
missed the
We
quiet,
missed the quiet,
gentle
gentle anticipation
anticipation
that
of
preceded
waiting.
every normal event.
Love was now defined purely by simultaneity. The greatest connection was the simple fact of existing in the same moment.
Our own shadows became strange geometric proofs, constantly reminding us of our terrifying impossible speed and new relationship with light.
Stillness became the true monumental achievement. To exist without warping time was the most profound, essential form of our freedom.
We understood the immense destructive power contained within simple mass. Every single object held the potential for unimaginable energy.
The ultimate lesson was written clearly on the blank page. Nothing in the universe is absolute. Every truth depends fundamentally on your speed.
Some travelers consciously chose to stop, deliberately reclaiming the lost control over their impossible velocity and returning to the slow flow.
They found deep, unexpected joy in watching a seed slowly sprout, reclaiming the lost, gentle beauty of sequential, unhurried time.
Coming home meant bridging a massive temporal gap. The traveling self was still the same person who had long ago departed.
We looked at the distant stars, no longer with poetic wonder, but with the intrinsic knowledge of the physics warping every ray of light. If someday we achieve this speed, we will learn that freedom is not acceleration, but choosing the sacred value of our own time.
If someday humanity finally broke the last physical barrier, achieving the absolute, impossible speed of light itself instantly.
If someday, after countless millennia of pure speculation, science finally found the unassailable physical proof of the human soul.
Not just belief, but measurable proof, a distinct energy field that remains separate from the mere chemistry of the physical body.
The discovery brought an immediate, silent reverence the moment humanity faced its own verifiable, truly eternal nature.
The precise moment of true death was instantly redefined, marked by the soul's verifiable rapid ejection from its physical casing.
Funeral rites changed fundamentally. We no longer witnessed loss, but a beautiful, observable, verified transition to another state.
The paralyzing absolute fear of final total non-existence instantly vanished, replaced by the certainty of eternal continuity.
Every person instantly turned inward, suddenly aware of the verifiable, unique energy residing permanently within their own skull.
Religion faced a deep crisis of authority. The divine was now quantifiable, forcing a complete, painful reformation of centuries of doctrine.
Conflict and all forms of war became ethically untenable. Killing was now merely forcing a brutal, unwanted, premature transition.
Personal morality became an objective pursuit. We began tracking actions that positively or negatively affected our eternal energy signature. Our deep personal connection to the cosmos was instantly confirmed. We were provably composed of the same essential, powerful stellar material. The sheer quality of the soul, its brightness and intricacy, seemed directly related to ethical, deliberate choices made during life.
We instantly learned to look beyond the temporary physical vessel. Superficial appearances dissolved, replaced by the essential, core, glowing essence.
The justice system was completely transformed. Truth was no longer debated, but measured based solely on intrinsic, verifiable moral purity.
The definition of a soul extended far beyond the human species. We recognized simple consciousness in all life, altering our food chain and ethics.
Societal success was instantly redefined. Material wealth became less important than the measurable collective spiritual density of our community. Children were instantly treated with extreme reverence. Their untainted, bright souls offered proof of the pure human spiritual potential. Consumerism suddenly collapsed as desires shifted. Why spend life energy on things when only the cultivation of the true soul matters? Meditation and all forms of intentional thought instantly became the most potent forms of true self-improvement and expansion. Reincarnation instantly moved from a mere conjecture to a verifiable, trackable fact. We could trace our soul's eternal path. Relationships were instantly simplified. We only sought those whose eternal core perfectly resonated with our verifiable, unique frequency. We realized Earth was not a mere planet, but a vast, complex, living library of interconnected, verifiable, eternal spiritual energy. Ethics became a matter of essential physical law. Moral codes were rebuilt based on objective truths that preserved the cosmic energy core. Unselfish acts of verifiable charity were the most potent spiritual currency. Giving physical resources visibly amplified the eternal energy.
We repeatedly failed to physically contain or manipulate the soul. Its verified existence remained fundamentally non-physical, defying all material control.
Personal accountability instantly became total. Since the soul recorded every choice, every memory became a permanent, verifiable, indelible record.
The final farewell was profoundly peaceful. We watched a loved one's true essence depart, accepting their journey without desperate clinging.
Soul health instantly became the primary metric. Our devices constantly reminded us of our true core essence and spiritual status. Education focused purely on recognizing the soul's intricate patterns. We taught children the essence before the passing mechanics of the body.
Solitude ceased to mean loneliness. The verified soul was a complete, infinite universe unto itself, requiring no external validation. We instantly understood that our emotional states had measurable physical repercussions, visibly shaping the eternal, precious core energy. The grand illusion of true separation was finally shattered. We were all segments of one massive, verifiable cosmic energy field. The deepest reality was confirmed. We possessed an eternal energy vastly superior to the simple collection of atoms and passing dust.
Inner light became the ultimate source of illumination. Cultivating the true soul was the only way to clearly see the surrounding darkness.
The folly of the physical chase was recognized. We smiled gently at our past selves, consumed by the pursuit of temporary, meaningless light. The true measure of human interaction was the quality of soul light intermingling. Kindness was the visible fusion of two eternal cores.
Suffering was now a measurable energy drain. We became sensitive to the world's pain, seeing its visible cost to all souls.
The soul was a precious, quantifiable, eternal resource, the one thing we had the ultimate moral responsibility to actively nurture. Identity was finally and fundamentally stripped bare. Our true self was not the body's reflection, but the core, eternal energy signature.
The ancient fear of death was replaced by cosmic wonder. The universe was a highway of transitioning souls moving toward their next destination.
We understood that conscious creation amplified the world's spiritual density. Planting a tree became a verifiable, sacred, contributory act.
Education became the simple, verifiable truth of self.
Children were taught the facts of their soul before the passing mechanics of their body.
True wealth was now measured by visible light density. The richest were those who had cultivated the brightest, most intricate inner core.
Silence was no longer empty. Shared understanding existed in the verifiable, synchronous pulsing of two eternal, beautiful energy fields. If someday science proves the soul, we will realize that life is not a journey's end, but refining the brief, sacred, eternal core.
We have built our entire lives upon a foundation of flowing energy, rarely pausing to consider the fragile miracle of its constant presence.
Imagine the instantaneous confusion when that dependable and visible current simply ceases to exist, making all our modern extensions useless.
The familiar and instinctive flick of a switch is now met only with a profound and unyielding silence, replacing all light with deep shadows.
This isn't a temporary blackout that can be fixed. It is a fundamental global termination, an end to the very current we depend on. The constant underlying hum of the world disappears in an instant, replaced by an unsettling, complete, and echoing stillness.
That first moment of realization is chilling. The immediate, profound comprehension that nothing electronic will ever work again.
The once indispensable glowing rectangles in our pockets now become inert, silent bricks, completely unresponsive to our desperate taps.
That familiar, reassuring hum from the kitchen is gone forever, and with it, the quiet promise of perfectly preserved food begins to fade. Every light switch, once a simple gesture of illumination, now yields only persistent darkness, an unyielding void where brightness once was.
All forms of motorized transit come to an abrupt halt, turning our vital global infrastructure into little more than static, silent metal.
Our celebrated monuments to technological might are now just dark, empty shells, silently mocking the human ambition that built them. The intricate, invisible flow of digital currency completely evaporates, rendering our entire system of paper and electronic wealth irrelevant overnight.
The familiar, immediate voices of friends and loved ones are suddenly beyond reach, severed by the profound silence of global communication failure. The initial shock quickly gives way to a quiet, consuming terror, a realization of the isolation that comes with losing all technological comfort.
But humanity adapts immediately, beginning the desperate, essential search for even the smallest, most fragile spark of necessary light.
Fires, once archaic, become essential beacons of warmth and community, drawing people together, sharing whispered stories in the profound dark.
The celestial tapestry above, long hidden by our artificial glow, now unfurls in breathtaking majesty, a reminder of forgotten wonders.
Physical books, genuine conversations, and simple rediscovered hobbies reemerge, offering new, tangible forms of essential entertainment and connection. Isolated individuals dissolve into true communities, relying on one another and sharing precious remaining resources in a beautiful, necessary collaboration. The rhythm of daily existence profoundly shifts, compelling us to reconnect with the patient earth and the forgotten essential means of simple survival.
Water, that fundamental human need, is instantly transformed from a given convenience to a hard-won, incredibly precious resource to be protected.
Distances instantly become immense again. All journeys are now measured by the sheer endurance of our steps, not by the swiftness of an engine.
Nature swiftly reasserts its profound, quiet dominance. Its patient, inescapable cycles once again dictate the essential rhythm of human life. Practical knowledge becomes the new currency. Essential survival skills, long forgotten, are rapidly and urgently passed down to the next generation. Our once sedentary bodies, long accustomed to effortless convenience, quickly rediscover a surprising capacity for necessary self-reliant strength and enduring resilience. Individualism gives way to essential collaboration. Our collective human ingenuity becomes the most powerful and effective tool for overcoming new obstacles. Amidst the inevitable struggles and profound scarcity, an unexpected, almost forgotten sense of quiet, genuine peace can slowly begin to emerge.
The world, stripped of all man-made mechanical noise and electric chatter, finally reveals the complex, natural, and profound symphony of life itself.
Human closeness, no longer filtered through the cold distance of technology, becomes immediately and powerfully tangible, an absolute necessity for survival. Simple, fundamental joys, once overshadowed by endless consumer desires, now shine with unexpected and truly brilliant necessary fulfillment.
Our personal histories, the beloved shared stories and cherished memories, become our only true cinematic entertainment, passed down by flickering candlelight.
The immense, indifferent universe, suddenly visible and overwhelming, reminds us of our true, tiny scale within the incomprehensible natural order. Challenges will certainly persist and threaten, but so too will the fiercely stubborn, indomitable spirit of essential human perseverance and will.
Even in the stark ruins of our technological collapse, the tenacious, inherent will of life inevitably finds a way to adapt and beautifully persist.
The ancient, reliable cycle of the solar day continues. The sun still rises and sets, marking new, essential beginnings regardless of our status.
We are forced to redefine human progress, measuring success not by what we consume, but by how wisely and creatively we now endure. A completely new societal path is being forged by sheer, collective necessity, guided now by our shared resilience and inherent ingenuity.
We would ultimately find our true way back to the core of humanity, to the essential and powerful warmth of our unmediated social existence. Because even when surrounded by the most absolute, profound, and consuming darkness, there will always be a tiny light to be found.
If the world eventually loses all its power, we lose much comfort, but we simultaneously rediscover the very core of our shared authentic selves.
Stripped bare of every modern convenience, we finally remember what truly sustains us, not technology, but connection and resourcefulness.
The resilient human spirit is fundamentally unyielding, and the essential power of our unbreakable bond proves to be completely inexhaustible.
And in that profound, echoing, and perfect silence, we might at last hear the true, steady rhythm of our own hearts beating once again.
A world utterly without power, but still overwhelmingly full of genuine and hard-earned hope for the future.
If someday